I've got a sheet of paper in front of me. I'm taking all sorts of notes. I've got on my paper here, we're looking at June 9th through June 11th as a potential key area. So we're going to watch that. We're watching just the spring time period, which kind of feels like we're almost in summer already, but spring goes through June 20th, as you said. Summer doesn't hit until June 21st. So we're watching this time period of spring.
Live from America's heartland, this is the Daily Truth Report with your host, Noah Christopher.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Truth Report. We have Bo Polny back with us. It is the end of May 30th, and we had to get Bo back on. We've got a lot of big things happening. I'll lay it out here in just a moment, but hey, welcome to the show, Bo. Welcome back.
Thanks, Noah. Appreciate it. God bless you and all you do. I love your articles you write, and you are my one source for news, so thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Well, speaking of that, I want to get into something quick, but let me just say at the onset, this is going to be, you never know what we're going to get with Bo. Are we talking current events? Are we talking calendars? Are we talking Bible? Are we talking financial? We're going to be a little bit heavier on the financial side today, which means we're talking silver and gold. We've got silver sitting at 32 and just ready to break out over that pivotal 32 number, which, by the way, I remember a couple years ago, people saying silver, it's never going to go over 30. They crush it every time it hits 30, and we're over 30 right now. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about gold at all-time highs. We're going to talk about crypto and Bitcoin, kind of doing the same thing silver's doing, just ready to bust out over that $70,000 number. We're going to talk about the stock market. We're going to talk about all that. We've also got the Trump trials underway. Depending on the time you listen to this, we are still awaiting a verdict in the so-called hush money case. So we're going to talk about all of that. But before we do, Bo, you mentioned our website, and I just have to share my screen briefly here because I published this yesterday. I know you've seen it, but I want to show everybody else. Let me pull this up, and here we go. I came across this yesterday. I think most people listening to this know of Jonathan Cahn. Really fascinating guy. He wrote The Harbinger. Just has tons of fascinating videos out there. But I saw this, and I saw this video that he put out about the messed up calendars. And I thought, oh boy, where have I heard that before? And it was the last couple times you've been on, Bo. You were telling us about how the calendars are messed up. And certainly you're not the first person to discover that, but it was the first time I'd heard about it. And a lot of people listening had heard about it, and absolutely fascinating. And so it was so fun to listen to that. And we won't break it all down here, but you talk about, what does December mean? Well, days, December typically means 10, deca, 10. Well, why is that the 12th month? What does sept mean? Sept, 7. Why is that the 9th month? And it just goes October. What does oct mean? 8, octagon. Well, why is that the 10th month? And so you had laid it all out for us. You can go back and check some of our prior shows, and Bo goes into detail on the calendars and how they've been changed and messed up. And by the way, why is the new year not start in spring? So it's just one thing after another. But I saw this and from Jonathan Cahn, and then I listened to it, and it was just like verbatim of what. So I don't know, Bo. I think maybe Jonathan Cahn is watching our interviews and following your work because his video was identical to what you had told us. So I just thought that was fun. I'll kick it over to you for a comment if you like. But I'll post this link to this article down below if you want to read it and listen to the message from Jonathan, because it is really good.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, Jonathan Cahn is a beautiful man. He's an incredible person. I personally met him. I spent about 10 days with him. I was in Israel with him. My wife and I were in Israel with him. And we literally were on the bus with him half the time and hanging out with him. He's just the nicest guy. What you see is what you get with him. He's not like, he's just this a really wonderful person. And the greatest part about him, like everything about him, he just loves the Lord. And it's so cool because, he's Jewish only to find Jesus Christ. And boy, he lays it out so beautifully. So, he's a great man, and thanks for doing the article. And you're right. Actually, I need to listen to that. I actually haven't listened to what he said in that podcast. So I'm going to go listen to it later, probably this weekend. But let's talk about the calendars, particularly because it's interesting. Go back and study 2020, the year 2020. Just as an example, you had Passover and you had Easter literally lining up to, I think, the same weekend. Okay, so we had this go off in 2020. So we've got this time window, and these are biblical time points. Now let's compare that to what just happened in 2024. Okay, so 2020, Passover and resurrection. Because from a Christian standpoint, you're talking resurrection, and Jesus was the Passover lamb. All right, so just going to understand Jesus was ended up being the Passover lamb. In the year 2020, Passover and Resurrection Day were literally lined up to, I think, within 24 hours. Okay, so now it's interesting because in the year 2024, what do you got going on? You literally had Resurrection was March 31. We talked about this in prior podcasts. March 31 was Resurrection Sunday. Well, that's fantastic, right? But then Passover wasn't until April 22nd.
Okay.
That's 3 weeks apart. Then we had Pentecost just 2 weeks ago. And I said, watch Pentecost, something big's expected to go down. But this is the Pentecost, which is relative to Resurrection March 31. Let's not be confused here. So March 31 Resurrection, that Pentecost ends up being the 18th of May. And what happened on the 18th of May? On that day, we had Iran's president dead and Israel's prime minister arrested, or an arrest warrant was issued. Okay, so this is Pentecost. So let's not be confused here. This is Pentecost relative to Resurrection Sunday. Are you with me, Noah? And so that would be the Passover. But that's the Passover. That's one Passover. There's a second Passover on the Hebrew calendar. So the Hebrew calendar has got Passover on April 22nd. So now we're talking 3 weeks apart. Think about this, Noah. 3 weeks apart, whereas in 2020, the calendars were lined up. So if we run from April 22nd, you run 50 days, we haven't had Passover yet relative to the Hebrew calendar.
Okay.
We haven't had Pentecost relative to the Hebrew calendar. Pentecost is June 11th. So Resurrection Sunday, 50 days, takes you to May 19th. And you have this happen, what you're looking on the screen. You got Iran's president dead. Israel's prime minister has an arrest warrant issued for him. This happened on Pentecost relative to Resurrection Sunday. But then if you do Passover, which Jesus was the Passover lamb, so we got a second calendar going on right now. April 22nd, you're on 50 days. We're at June 11th, which we're not even there yet.
You're looking for June 11 to be a big day.
Sure, absolutely June 11th, but there's a huge, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's a big day. Why? Because it's Pentecost relative to the Hebrew calendar. Now let's throw another calendar on this because we got to understand the times and the seasons, okay? So if we go to page 41, just so the viewers can understand, this is the Gregorian versus the Julian calendar. So we got three calendars. We got the Gregorian, which is a Roman calendar, which the world uses, which is basically Roman times. You got the Julian calendar, which goes back to the time of Jesus, actually, I think 50 to 60 years before that. So this is even a longer calendar relative to the time of Jesus was on the earth. And then you got the Hebrew calendar. So talk about three clocks being in this world to mess the world up.
Hey, Bo, you just said Roman times. It just I just thought about this. What for the last 20 years, what's the default font that's always installed on every computer you buy with Windows on it? Times New Roman, right?
Times Roman, absolutely.
How about that?
Any way you look at this, this is no different than Rome. It's just you think you're free. Okay, this is no different. Everything goes back to the saying is all roads lead to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd that come from? Right?
And the Roman Empire never really died. It just changed form.
Morphed.
Yeah,
it morphed. It went into hiding, is what it did, and it now works in the shadows. Thus, Mystery Babylon. Okay, so the Roman Empire still exists. It's working in the shadows. Thus, we have what's called Mystery Babylon. And what do they use? They create money out of thin air to pull the purse strings on everybody. Mm-hmm. So, as you know, P. Diddy as an example, right? He was just the outer layer of the onion.
Absolutely.
Inside, you got all the people pulling the strings. Okay,
sure. Low level.
You have low level, so you have all these puppets on the outside doing. You had Robert De Niro out yesterday, talking in New York. He's just the outer layer of the onion. That's all he is. He's nothing. He's nothing. And then you got the deep people with the big pockets pulling all the purse strings, and there you go. Why was De Niro there yesterday? Very simple, because he was paid to be there and because his handlers had him go there. What does he do when he show up? He reads a script. What did he do in Hollywood? Read a script. He just memorizes and reads scripts. This is the stuff that we're going on in our world. And now this guy who's reading a script is up there in New York, who's doing nothing different than what he did when he was in Hollywood. Memorize and read and memorize scripts and regurgitate. That's all it is. That's all this world is, nothing but smoke and mirrors. Okay. So now let's look at this calendar right now. So we've got the Hebrew calendar, we got the Roman calendar, and we got the Julian calendar. So what we're looking at right here is a two colors, pink and yellow, and you've got the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar. So based on present day Gregorian calendar, today is the Thursday, May 30th. Based on the Julian calendar, today is Thursday, May 17th.
Okay.
So we've got 2 weeks yet to go in May, based on the Julian calendar, which is truly a more accurate calendar because it goes back to before the time of Jesus. Not the Roman calendar, which was maybe 400 or 500 years old. In your article, you actually did a great write-up on that as well, too. So they've changed all the times and seasons. And again, let's talk about seasons, right? These are not my seasons. Like, I didn't make up the word spring. God did. Summer is God's seasons. Fall, winter. These are God's seasons. You and I didn't make up these words, right? These seasons are time points of God. There's 4 of them. And so we've got 4 seasons. Right now, we're in the season of spring. You made a great point, and because we talked about this in prior podcasts. What do we say in our podcast? If God's going to birth something, he's going to birth something when? In the dead of winter? No,
right.
In the spring. If you don't believe me, go into the wilderness. When do all animals give birth? Animals give birth to their offspring in spring. Why? So then they can, through summer, be nourished, grow, gain strength in preparation for winter. You see how God lined all this up? You give birth in spring, you grow and eat and become strong in summer to then prepare for a difficult winter. Same thing, if God's going to birth a new era, why would it be any different? If he's going to birth an era, he's going to birth it when? In spring. So we can, as the body of Christ, rejoice, prepare, have an incredible summer in preparation for what's coming in fall, because fall is going to be incredible for what's about to manifest here in spring. And that's why, we've always heard that prophecy a long time, the Kim Clement, summer will be the mediator between spring and fall, so the fall can do its work in America, right? So we're at a moment in time now where something's expected to manifest in spring. You see, if summer is the middle point, which means what? Something had to happen in spring.
Yeah.
So what do we've got? We've got 3 calendars. The Hebrew calendar we're not even at Pentecost yet. Pentecost is June 11th. If we run the Julian calendar, we're only at the 17th, which means that we're easily going into maybe about the 15th, I think, or something like that, before May even ends. And this is the key. The spring doesn't end until June 20th. So between now and June 20th, I don't know what's going to happen, but it is going to be fun. Between now and June 11th, what's going to happen? Again, I don't know, but something's about to blow. And what happens between now and June 11th, when you look in the reality of things, you've got all the news focused on Trump right now with this sham trial. There is so much about to blow. And between now and June 11th, what do we got? I've been watching the pattern on Bitcoin, and they are doing everything, including throwing the kitchen sink to not let Bitcoin break 70,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know that we've had the patterns on this for months already, and they are fighting tooth and nail to not let Bitcoin break 70. Because if it breaks 70, it's going to go to 100 in a heartbeat. They're fighting like crazy, tooth and nail, to not let silver break $32. But I've said forever, for 2 or 3 years, we've said on your show, 27 is the roof on silver. When it takes out 27, because they'll fight forever, and they did. When it finally takes out 27, it's going to immediately go to 32. It did it on Pentecost weekend relative to the Julian calendar. So May 17th, May 18th, 19th, that weekend, it blew through 30 and went straight to 31.50. The next day, it topped out at 32. So now that landmark has been hit. So we got silver toying with $32 with a match lit under it. The thing is about to rip like you've never seen before. So silver's got a match lit under it. It just needs to ignite. That's how close this thing is right now. Gold is toying with 24, 25 as well, too. So we've got all things anti-dollar ready to just ignite.
Yep, there it is right
all
here.
All things anti-dollar ready to ignite. Because let me tell you, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for what? The fall of Babylon. What does that mean? You see, Babylon, by its mere definition, is a control system based on money. Why was De Niro up there? Got paid. Why do all these celebrities do stuff? They get paid. Why did P. Diddy do what he did? Got paid. You see, everybody, why do these politicians do what they're doing? They get paid. Why do politicians go in and get a $200,000 a year job and leave multimillionaires? Why? They get paid, bribes and payoffs. You see, Babylon is all about getting paid. It's all about getting paid with a US dollar, not federal, not a reserve, and a note means it's paper. You know, it's all about getting paid with fake money. But they have to keep the game going so they make people think it's real money. So they keep creating it out of thin air and people believe it's real money. But it's not real money. It's a fake. At this point, if you still think the money's real, man, I feel bad for you. Because there's so much money that's been created now. Everything's a complete and utter fraud. Everything. And the money is how they built it all. So when you see silver blow through $30, it's going to go, my initial target is between $60 and $70 in a single day. Said that before numerous times, I've said again, I still believe it's going to go between 60 and 70 in a single day. And that just starts the bull market. That just starts it. Damages are sevenfold, which means that a $20 base on silver, that's the baseline. You multiply that by 7, that's about $140 on silver. That's coming extremely soon. Let's just say within the next 1 to 3 months, we should have 3 digits on silver. Think that's crazy?
Wow.
No. Go look at page 44. Look at page 44. Zoom in on that chart. Look at the chart real closely, and you'll notice it doesn't matter that what I'm comparing it to. I'm comparing it to another chart. That's all I'm doing. But the chart I'm comparing it to, this is what matters. The chart that I'm comparing it to, so the top chart is silver. The bottom chart is cocoa. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. What I'm showing you is the chart on the bottom. This is important. The chart on the bottom is identical to the chart at the top for 45 years. Let's repeat that. The chart at the bottom, who cares what it is? The chart pattern at the bottom is identical to the chart pattern at the top for the past 45 years. So Noah, if something has been replaying perfectly for 45 years, what are the odds it'll play perfectly for 45 years and 6 months? Pretty much 99.99999% that if it's been accurate for 45 years, I would say there's a huge chance it'll be accurate for 46 years. Are you with me? Okay. Because 45 years are perfect. Both charts. And what does the chart say on cocoa? Look at it. At $3,200, $3,200 was resistance for cocoa for 45 years. Look at the chart on silver. $32 was resistance for silver for 45 years. You seeing a correlation there? Just to remove 2 zeros. Once cocoa finally broke through $32, it immediately went to $136.
Wow.
Which means that, actually, it's 13,600. Drop 2 zeros would be $136.
Yeah, that's your 140 that you just said.
140. And that's biblical because those are damages are sevenfold. So when a thief gets caught, for rigging the financial system, particularly God's money, gold, and silver, when the thief gets caught for rigging God's money with paper contracts, the thief must immediately pay sevenfold damages. Period. Where is that in scripture? Go read James 5. I think I've got it memorized pretty well. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for the miseries that shall come upon you. Your gold and your silver, meaning paper contracts, are cankered, and shall be the witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye, you, bankers, have heaped treasures for the last days. When this event happens, this is the takedown of the financial system. This is the takedown of the Federal Reserve note. This is the takedown of the bankers and their banks. This is the utter destruction of the financial system. Bo, that's horrible. The financial system, sadly, turned into a fraud. The financial system started off as an honest instrument of transactions. You could go to the bank, you could drop off a piece of gold, they'd give you fiat paper in return so you could go buy things. And then if you spent only half of that, you could go back and get half a piece of gold back. You see, that's how the banking system was incorporated. But Satan does something rather interesting. He gets in the middle of everything. He corrupts everything, including the financial system. You see, so when they took us off the gold standard, that was the corruption of money. And then Nixon, by taking us off the gold standard, they had now the ability to create money to infinity. I'm going to repeat that. They had the ability to create money to infinity. Now, Nixon took us off the gold standard in 71. It's interesting that in 73, the petrodollar contract was signed between Kissinger and the Saudis. If you go to page 20, this is the news clipping of what happened on June 9th. Isn't that a coincidence? Because 2 days later, the 11th, is Pentecost.
That's what you said earlier, June 11th.
Right, 2 days later. Go to the next page 21. Look at the math on this. Please explain to me, Noah, how this happened aside from being by the hand of God. You see, Israel was in the 6-day war. The war ended on June 9th. What a coincidence. 1967. 7 years later, to the exact day, the Saudis signed the petrodollar with the United States. 7 years to the exact day. What a coincidence. You run a 50-year cycle all the way to 2024, and there's 7 years. If you go back from 2024, you go back 7 years, you had the Revelation 12 sign manifest in the heavenlies. What did Kim Clement say? You have been besieged, America, besieged by haters of America from within for the past 7 years.
For many that have cried out and said, God will destroy this nation. The Spirit says, may I remind you, the covenant that I made with this nation is immutable, is unchangeable, that I created and spoke over this nation to feed the world, to heal the earth. God says, yes, judgment will come, but it shall not come at this time in the fashion that they have spoken. They have said, there shall be a crash and America shall be crippled. God said, not at this time, not at this time, for I have raised you up for a season, and there shall be 7 years where I will take you out of your besiegement. You have been besieged for 7 years, America. You have been surrounded by your internal enemies. Haters of America have stood up, and I will take the wealth of the wicked and for a season transfer it into the hands of the righteous. And
what I'm showing you is that any way you do the math, everything is pointing to something about to go down. What's a black swan? Actually, this was pretty funny because I did a Google search on the possibilities of a black swan event occurring. And you Google this, and it's the chances of a black swan event occurring are 1 in 24 trillion. 1, 2, 4. If you know my timeline.
Oh, yes, there you go.
Isn't that funny? How do these, who came up with that statistic? But if you literally go to Google and you type in the words Black Swan event, 1 in 24 trillion, there's an article literally written about the scientists who did the mathematical calculations on the possibility of a Black Swan event happening within the world are 1 in 24 trillion. So the chance of us being right, the chance of everything I've said here, the chance of all of this going down, evil falling, Babylon falling, God's money, gold and silver exploding, Bitcoin exploding, the chance of all of this happening are predicated on a Black Swan event, and the odds of that are 1 in 24 trillion.
Yeah, there it is right there. I just typed it in. I didn't even type in 1 in 24. I just said statistic likelihood of a Black Swan event. There you go. Yep, 1 in 24 trillion.
So the chance of me being right, because I'm putting it all on red. My red is gone. I'm putting it all on God.
All right,
the chance of me being right is 1 in 24 trillion. And here's the deal. My God's undefeated. So I don't care what anybody has to say. God is setting up the perfect trap, the greatest trap in human history. The odds of this, based on these mathematicians, whoever they are, say it's 1 in 24 trillion. And I put it all on 1 in 24 trillion because I know it's about to go down.
Well, there you go, everybody. We fact check Bo in real time, and he gets a passing grade. Good job, Bo. All right.
How crazy is this? So, in other words, for something to happen of positiveness, a positivity. Think about this, right? Because everything that's happened in the world, Noah, everything going off, there really hasn't been one victory anywhere. It's just like, Trump keeps like having these small wins here and there, but globally, it's like the United States still is captured, right? Like we're still captured. And anything like they still run the news media. They lie and scream about everything. And so my point of the matter is we are honestly waiting for a moment in time where God shows up. And that would be called a Black Swan event. Now, the possibility of a Black Swan event, based on what we just Googled, is 1 in 24 trillion. So the odds are stacked against us.
Yep.
And I'm still smiling. I'm still smiling because I know that our God will not forsake us. I know 2 Chronicles, and it states very clearly, if my children who are called by my name, I'm not talking about the bankers, I'm talking about God's children, the bride, if my children who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek the face of Jesus, seek his face, and turn from their wicked ways. Not only was it the petrodollar issue in 73, not only was it abortion in 73, not only is it about but it is clearly and specifically about both. We went against God in 73 with Roe v. Wade. We further went against God by allowing Satan into the money system by taking us off God's money, gold and silver. The United States went fully rogue. The United States went fully corrupt as of 73 onwards. And you ask Noah, why are we here? Why are we in such a horrible place? We turned away. We decided to kill the Creator's creation with abortion. We turned away from the Creator's money, an honest ledger, gold and silver. So as a nation founded under God, we are radically doing whatever we feel like doing for 50 years. What do you get? You get all hell breaking loose in the United States. But this is the but part. 2 Chronicles states very clearly, there's a comma. So if we turn from our wicked ways, and that I've said before, I'll say it again. We have turned from our wicked ways because we have overturned Roe v. Wade. The only thing left is to go back to a gold standard, to go back to God's money. When this moment in time happens, this will be the rebirth of the United States. So we are about to witness something wild, which is the Black Swan. This will be correlating directly to God intervening upon the world. I don't know what that means. No one knows what that means. But God is and will intervene upon the world because 2 Chronicles states very clearly. It says a comma and then we will hear from heaven. Not might, could hear from heaven. No. Then we will hear from heaven. God will forgive our sins, and God will heal our land. So God's a forgiving God. He is going to, because we've overturned Roe v. Wade, we will be chastised. We're in a judgment point in time right now where God is about to judge the wicked. This is reaping season. So reaping season's here. God's about to judge the wicked, take down their money system. It's going to be horrendous. Those who haven't prepared, those who haven't listened to you or me, but we don't want to even give you advice. Those who haven't followed what you and I do. What do? We've been buying silver and gold, and Noah, you and I have been buying cryptocurrencies. If people have listened to us, they have nothing to worry about financially because they have insurance policy set in place on the greatest financial event that's about to manifest in this world. It's going to be wild. So, 2 Chronicles is about to manifest. Leviticus says a jubilee is in the 50th year. Well, what I just showed you, Kissinger contract, Saudi petrodollar, that the 73 to 74, June 9th completes the 50th year. So that petrodollar contract, 50-year contract, ends on June 9th, which means that we got 10 days? I'm just telling you, something's about to go down, but this event is going to be what's called a Black Swan, meaning no one sees it coming. A Black Swan event is a massive financial event. It comes out of left field. Nobody saw it coming.
In terms of these Black Swans, Bo, I always kind of watch the weekends. It just seems to me like they love dropping stuff over the weekends. They love to do it when people aren't paying attention. They love to do it when the stock market is closed and you're trapped and you can't sell. So, you're the guest. I'm just the host here. But in terms of what I watch, that's what I'm looking for.
And I can't disagree with you because you might be 100% right. In other words, this Friday is the 31st.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? So as May's ending, based on the Gregorian calendar, does something go down Friday afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
I'm all ears for the next few days, couple weeks here. That's all. I'm literally just watching and waiting because this is a moment in time where Israel's pinned at the Red Sea, and it's just the Red Sea miracle was the Black Swan. Get it? When that sea parted, no one saw it coming. Not even Moses. Nobody saw it coming. The odds of that happening were 1 in 24 trillion. It was a joke, but my point is the odds of it happening were next to zero, but yet it occurred. You see, the odds of something happening in our world here in the month of May, here into June, is huge. And so what I'm focusing on specifically is I want to use the word spring because God births new things in spring. I'm going to repeat that. God births. He gives birth to new things in spring. He doesn't give birth. Summer is a time where everything should be birthed. So this is literally a moment in time where Moses says, stand still and watch the salvation of the Lord, for he will work for you, for us today. The present day Egyptians who we see before us, soon we shall never see again. The Lord will fight for us. So there's something coming down the pipeline here. The odds are stacked against us hugely. And I love those odds when God's on our side, because it doesn't matter what the odds are. It doesn't matter what the odds are when God's involved, because it's a guarantee. So something's about to go down. This is the greatest trap in history. We're going to see, when this event goes down, we're going to see silver blast through $32. We're going to see multiplication, like we shall talk on the charts earlier. We're going to see, in addition to that, gold explode vertical. Gold, 33,000 is not a stop on gold. When this event happens, gold is immediately going to go to 4,000. Okay, so forget about 3,000. That's just maybe a few, whatever it's going to be, but that's just a little blip in time. It's going to 4,000. Silver is going $60 to $70. Bitcoin's going to go immediately to 80, 90,000. We're going to see incredible things go down, but this is a moment in time where literally God's not going to reveal the day he's going to strike. He's also not going to reveal how he's going to do it. He didn't tell Moses. All he said to Moses was raise your staff. You see, we're all going to have our appointments and things we need to do. But at this moment in time, this is the point, you fear not and just watch what God's about to do, because something wild is about to happen. And all the stars are lined up. Like I said earlier, you got all the metals, cryptos, everything just ready to rock. We've got all these political events, especially, this little show going off in New York right now. So talk about things just ready to manifest. So it's just going to be, like I've stated before, and I'll say again, it's going to be like this suddenly moment. And until suddenly happens, there's a whole lot of nothings. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting. So we wait. But the odds of what's about to happen is less than 1%, meaning 1 in 24 trillion. And I love those odds when God's on our side, because why? Covenant nation. The United States was founded under God. And, good luck to the globalists who want to grab the United States and bring on a one world government. They're never going to get it, because sadly for them, they chose poorly, because the founding fathers they were on their knees and they made a covenant with God, the creator of all things, that this is a nation founded under God. So it's in a really incredible time that we get to be living in, to watch all this go down this year. So just be patient, because we're so close.
Yeah, good. Well, I want to wrap up here talking about Bitcoin. You've talked, and crypto in general. You've kind of talked about that a little bit here, but I want to get into some more detail as we wrap up. But I've got a sheet of paper in front of me. I'm taking all sorts of notes. I've got on my paper here, we're looking at June 9th through June 11th as a potential key area. So we're going to watch that. We're really we're watching just the spring time period, which kind of feels like we're almost in summer already, but spring goes through June 20th, as you said. School's getting out for a lot of people. Kids are home. It feels like summer's broken in, but it really hasn't yet. Summer doesn't hit until June 21st. So we're watching this time period of spring. And you've said silver and gold. You've got gold, 4,000 easy coming up. Silver, you see it in a single day jumping to 60 to 70. 3 digits not out of the question, 140 at some point. Actually, you said extremely soon. So we got a lot there. You said it earlier too, Bo. Neither one of us are financial advisors. We can't give any of you personalized financial advice. Sometimes people email me after the shows and ask, what they should do personally. I can't tell you. And that's what I say in the emails too. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give personalized financial advice for you. Everybody's different. But, we just talk about what's happening in the world and what's happening in the news and what's happening in the financial world. And this is what we see. This is what, speaking just for myself, gold and silver, precious metals. I sleep better at night having some of those. Don't have as many as I'd like, but you're always working towards that. I like crypto. I feel better holding that in some personal wallets, and feels like that. Now, does that get corrupted over time in the future? Probably, certainly so. But right now, I think we're looking for some big movements in the future. I want to talk about that in just a second, but that's what I've got in my notes, Bo. Let me take us down to, boy, there's so much in these slides, by the way. The link to this slide presentation will be below the video. You can grab this, and I know so many people print these out and keep them, save them in to their hard drives. So you can scan this QR code right here. You can grab this, the slides. The link will be below too. But let's talk about crypto a little bit, because I know so many people want to hear what you have to say, Bo. You just said Bitcoin 80, 90,000 is around the corner, not too far away, I think you said. I don't want to paraphrase for you. So why don't you just, maybe I've got us on the right slide here. Tell us what you're seeing as we sit here on May 30th, 2024. What's happening next?
I'll say this. Bitcoin is an alternate form of transaction relative to the current financial system. The problem with our current financial system, it's a slavery system. They create money out of thin air, and everybody believes it's money. The world believes it's money. And then you got the BRICS nations had enough of this game. When the dollar's attacked, and it will be this year, it will be attacked this year, the US dollar will be dethroned as a world reserve currency. You can look at the chart right there in front of you. And like I said, the two charts, it doesn't matter what the bottom chart is. The point is the charts are identical. The top chart is a historic cycle. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a historic cycle. The bottom chart is present day Bitcoin. And what you'll notice is the charts are identical. I'm going to repeat that. The charts are identical for, I think, 6 to 9 months now. So the charts are telling us, the historic chart at the top is telling us what's coming. And what's coming is a historic move on Bitcoin. The cycle that we've blocked out continues further, and we know some key dates that are coming here: June, July, August. So we've got some really key time points that are going to play out. I don't care what anybody says, these time points are going to play out because I verified this cycle of time relative to other cycles. So all of it is very exciting what's about to manifest. So what I'm saying is, just like that comparative chart of silver, 45 years of a perfect pattern. We've got, just on the near term here on Bitcoin, 6 to 9 months of a perfect pattern. So we know what's coming. We're close. We've got some critical dates in June, critical dates in July. So it's going to be so exciting what's about to happen, but we're going to see huge move vertical, a massive takedown. So there's going to be a lot going on here in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Why? Because this is a transition point for the world financial system. So we are at nearly, this is like pretty much getting into D-Day here for what's about to go down. And so I'm so excited that, we've been doing this for so long. And I sleep so well at night because why? God put it on my heart years ago to own precious metals. So I do. And also he's revealed to me the cycle patterns for cryptocurrencies, and with such accuracy that it's mind-boggling. And there's only one reason why God would have revealed these incredible patterns to me, because he wanted to have me share it with the world. So the world knows what's coming. And what's coming is a financial takedown like you've never seen before. And the takedown would be comparable to Jesus Christ flipping the tables on the money changers in the temple. So this is about to happen. And so I really hope people have listened to us, know, and prepared.
Well, Bo, last time you were on, you announced that you have been warming up to XRP. And I just wanted to ask you, are you enjoying now being a part of the XRP Army? How's that going for you?
I look at XRP as a coin to hold, just for a move that's coming. I feel a little bad for the people who have been stacked up on XRP and nothing else, because XRP for the past few years really has gone nowhere. And some of the coins in our report, you get a report and you've got some other coins that I know you're holding on to, Noah, and those have maybe at least gone 2 or 3 fold since the bottom. So they've done incredibly well, and they're just warming up. So XRP will move. I've got a position on it. I don't think I'm going to hold it forever, but right now I've got a position on it, like I've got with other coins as well too. And I'm just going to see, what news events are going to unfold over the next 3, 6, 9 months on XRP. But I do believe it's going to move really well, and there's a really good chance that it could be the coin of choice, like I said earlier, to replace possibly the SWIFT system that the Federal Reserve is using right now as well too. So we'll see how it all plays out. But again, I'm sleeping well because that's one of my coins that I'm holding, and I compliment you for being involved in it as well too, because I think it's going to do well. But again, like anything I've always said, you should never ever have all your eggs in one basket. If you only own XRP and don't own any silver, foolishness. Okay. If you only own XRP and not any other coins, foolishness. Okay. But if you own XRP and other coins, or and with silver, I think that's being very wise. Solomon was very wise. What did he say? You should hold things 7 different ways. So that's why I look at the world, and one of the 7 is XRP.
So your membership is still secure in the XRP Army. I appreciate that. Very nice, and I do like to joke with you about that, because you're right. I do think it's got a very bright future. But I hold many different coins. And again, people aren't here to hear about what I do, but yeah, it's one of them. I've got several others that I have, and several that I have because of your report. And so you do have XRP in your logo here of all the different coins you cover. That's because you do cover it, but you cover a lot of them. And then some that aren't even on the screen here that are in your report. And, some are really fun that, some are below a penny, even fractions of a penny. Those are fun. And, it doesn't have to be just buying Bitcoin at $68,000.
Right.
And by the way, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy parts for people that don't know that. So
if I can just say, I just want to be clear to the people, as much as I have a position on it, I just want people to be wise. Never, ever put anything or put everything on, like, in other words, I put all my finances that I have on God. Okay, that's a different deal versus buying a coin made by man. So always be wise, because I'll tell you that the safest thing to hold of everything is precious metals, because that's God's money. But again, I think, a friend of mine, Manuel Johnson, he had a prophecy and a vision that he was in New York and he saw XRP at $70. Okay.
Yeah,
so could that happen? Absolutely. So again, this is not financial advice. I'm holding different coins because I think they all have their place and their value. And I do believe, the coin XRP could jump sizably when all these things go down. But in the meantime, make sure, this is one thing of at least something that people need to pay attention to, because I know a lot of people will buy these coins. Maybe you can add in on this, but a lot of people will buy coins and then they leave these coins on exchanges. Okay. That's a huge risk, because if that exchange goes down, your coins are gone with it. Okay. So we've talked before about hard wallets and things. So make sure, like precious metals, they're in your possession.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Cryptocurrencies, they're in hard wallets in your possession, because what's coming is a changing of the guard, and that guard better not be holding your cryptocurrencies in their wallets.
Yeah. Well, we have seen that time and time again. We've seen
FTX.
Celsius,
people lost
FTX.
Millions and billions of dollars with FTX because they had their money on the exchange.
Yeah, that's right. So this is not, what Bo's saying is not something that is speculative. We've seen it happen over the years. Luckily, I didn't have anything with them, but a lot of people did. So Bo, let me just recap. That's really great. A lot of things you just said there, and I've got it up on the screen here. A couple things. Number one, if you are interested in knowing more about what Bo covers in these reports and wanting to know more about these coins that are on the screen here, we talk and Bo comes on for free and shares all this info. But if you want the one thing that he does have as a subscription service, you can get his report. It's at gold2020forecast.com, and you go there and he's going to tell you what he sees coming more particularly, in the next few days, in the next few weeks. He goes over all the different coins that you see on the screen and even some other ones. So it's not for everybody. If you want to just buy coins and sit on them, that makes perfect sense. But for those people, and I know there are a lot of them out there, I'm one of them. I love reading the report when it comes into my inbox. If you'd like to get that, that's where you go. You go to gold2020forecast.com. And then Bo always gives us a discount here. So, we've worked with Bo for so long. It's a pleasure to work with you, Bo. And thank you for coming on the show. And thank you for giving everybody the discount. So if you're signing up for that and you want to try it, when you go to that page, you find the box that says use code, and you type in WLT49, going to take 50% off of that and give you a discount. The other thing that Bo was talking about was, not making mistakes and not doing things like keeping your money on exchanges. That can be very dangerous. We've seen it. We've seen people burned by it. FTX is the biggest. There have been many others dating back all the way to the beginning, and Mt. Gox and Celsius, and the list just goes on and on and on of exchanges that have just gone out of business. And when they go out of business, they take your money with them. So if you want to learn about that, or if you want to just learn in general, hey, I don't even know how to start. I want to get some gold, I want to get some silver, and I want to get some cryptocurrency, but I know how to do the first two, but I don't know how to do crypto. That's the other cool thing Bo's put together. He's got, you go to easycryptoschool.com, and he'll take you from knowing literally nothing about cryptocurrency, or even where to go to buy it, or what's a wallet, what's a hard wallet, what's a cold wallet, some of the things that you just said, Bo. What do those things even mean? He goes through the whole thing in here. And so you can do the same thing if you want to sign up for that and get access. You make sure you find the box that says use code and put in WLT49. And in partnership with Bo, we'll get you 50% off on that too. And I know so many people enjoy that every time we talk and month after month. So great stuff there. I haven't done the school because I kind of learned the school of hard knocks. I have looked at your school, Bo. It looks fantastic. I unfortunately had to learn the hard way. I wish I had the school back in 2017 when I started. I mean, I made some mistakes. I sent some crypto to the wrong places and it just goes poof. And I did some other things that were dumb. So I wish I would have had that. But I do love your newsletter a lot. So we got those up on the screen for you. If I can just boil it down, Bo, sometimes I read the comments and people say, well, I understand Bo's got details in his newsletter, but what's the general gist? The general gist is we've got some exciting days, weeks, months ahead. Is that fair to say?
We're at a moment in time where something's expected to manifest on this world in the month of spring. So it's going to be an incredibly interesting and important time point in the world. So we just have to wait and watch of what the events are going to be, but it's tied in directly with silver and gold ready to explode vertical. It's tied in directly with cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, toying with 70,000, but they keep hammering it down as soon as it touches 70. So it's a really wild moment in time that's about to manifest. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. I want to see the events that tie this all together. So it's really exciting to sit here and watch all these things manifest here within our world. So we just have to wait, be patient. It might get scary, might get a little crazy for a while, but just know that ultimately God's got this. And we step into a really wonderful summer.
Yeah.
So for those involved in cryptocurrencies, precious metals, again, we're stepping into a really wonderful summer.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens too. I say all the time, I feel like I have the best job in the world because we get to watch what's happening next. These events are crazy, and I get to cover it as my job, and then I get to talk to people like you. So it's just we have a blast doing this every day, and you're right. I can't wait to see what happens next. I could have done without the last 4 years, but that tide is turning, and it's gonna be as bad as it's been. The comeback and the everything else is going to be absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to see it. I saw that I wrote down on my notes here, Bo, greatest trap in history, coming into a great moment, an incredible time period here in spring. So can't wait to see it. We will, of course, have you back on soon to talk about all of it. We'll have you on before spring ends on June 20th. So that's coming up, maybe June 9th through 11. That's the key time period. We'll definitely have you back on soon to talk about all of it. And in the meantime, we'll watch for the things you're watching for. Thanks a lot, Bo, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Noah, for all you do.
Yeah, thank you, Bo. We'll see you.